Greeting, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Interesting Ideas. I'm Stan Houston, and I'm thankful that you have chosen to be here because you are truly one of the most important persons in the world, because that's how I want to treat you, and I want to make sure that if you're going to give me 10, 15, maybe 20 minutes of your time, that it's worthwhile, because you are worth it. So, thank you for your time and energy. And you probably are familiar with our Tuesday, sounder now, which is CQ, CQ, CQ. That's, we're calling all the people who are interested. We're willing to talk to anybody and listen to anybody. And the only qualification is that you care about perhaps not only being interesting, but how to live a better life and do a better business, and perhaps to share that wisdom, insight, and truth with others. So we're glad that you have joined us. And today, a little bit of an upper and a little bit of a downer, because the question really is, what is the most important question for you right now in trying times? What could be the most important question for you right now in these trying times? Well, I hope I've got your attention at least for a few more minutes, because I think I can help you. It's something that I learned from somebody else, but that's what I do. I share good things from good people. That's what the program Interesting Ideas is all about for you, and it starts right now. Again, thank you. I'm glad that you really are here. The other day, someone asked me, a little bit surprised, they said, do you do a podcast every day? And I said, yeah, every business day, and sometimes maybe one or two on the weekend. And he said, well, how in the world do you ever do that? And I say, because that's what I do. I have to do it. So before I go to bed at night, I have to think about what I'm going to do. And then I have to get up in the morning, and no matter what has happened to me, I have to go before the microphone, and I have to do it, because that's what I'm called to do, to speak a little wisdom, insight, and truth, and try and share that with others, and I'm called to do it every day. And that's kind of difficult sometimes. In fact, doing the right thing is difficult most of the time. It's easy to do the wrong things, or the silly things, or the stupid things, or sometimes even just the easy ones. But that hasn't gone very well for us right now. 75% of the American population say they think that the country's going in the wrong direction. Well, that means everybody's having a challenge. Almost everybody's challenged by something. The pandemic, which we are still dealing with into year 3, and now we are discovering that the men and women who are making significant decisions, and decisions that affected our lives and the lives of our businesses and the lives of our children in school, they just made a bunch of terrible decisions. And as a result, people have suffered greatly. And we trusted them, and they failed us. They didn't do it right. And as a result, the trust that we have in institutions like our medical establishment, certainly our political establishment, in our educational establishment, and the fact that there are people who are more concerned about non-priority issues rather than what is really the issue of how we live well in these difficult times. Trust is gone in so many ways, and so the one good thing about that is that if you can't trust the government and all the institutions around, you're going to have to learn how to better trust yourself. Perhaps trust somebody who's wise and intelligent and a friend, a good friend, and you're going to have to learn to trust God. And so in these bad times, maybe that's what it's all about, learning how to trust yourself, trust a good friend, and to trust God. How are you going to do that? Think about that. Where have all the leaders gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. That happens to all of us. We all go to graveyards eventually. And I just discovered that one of my kind of heroes. His name was Frederick Buechner. Frederick Buechner. And that's spelled Buechner. One of my favorite writers, and I've studied and learned from him for many years. And he just recently passed away in the past week. I didn't know that until my friend told me about it, because he knew that we had a mutual affinity for him. And I've always learned a great deal from him. It's a story of a young boy, as he said, that at the age of 10, his father committed suicide. And that's how life really began for him. And then he had to go from that tragic and traumatic event to try to build a life. And he was able to achieve that in many ways, through many difficulties, and in a way because of all that he had suffered through, and suffering was a part of what we all have to do. He was better equipped to help those of us who are looking for a way through life. Frederick Buechner. Check him out if you care about interesting people with interesting ideas. But he actually gave me one of the most difficult questions of all time. And here is what it was. He said, when you're trying to find a vocation, ask this question. What is your deep gladness? What is your deep gladness? What is it in your life that you could only describe as deep gladness? Not feel good, not just happy, not just a temporary exhilaration because something went right or something nice happened, but what is your deep gladness? And then he went on to say, where should you be in life? What should you do when you grow up? And he said, seek to find the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. What an incredible marketing question for career development and life. What is your deep gladness? And if you don't have any, let's see if we can discover what we could create or what we might do to actually have that feeling of deep gladness within us. And then, what is the world's deep hunger? What does the world really need right now? And I will tell you that some of the most successful people I know, and none of them are wealthy. Some of them, by some world standard, are even poor. But you know what? They've found a way where their deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. I was coaching and counseling a young woman one time who was part of our church establishment, and her father had died long ago, and so her mother had raised her, and she just made it on her own. Really had made it on her own. Bright and brilliant. And she came into me, and I was trying to help her figure things out, and she told me that she felt that God was calling her to marry this man who was from Nepal, and that she should go back to Nepal to actually help this new and emerging country in difficult times. Now, that may not sound unusual for everybody, but it's certainly unusual for many bodies that you would do it. Particularly, and I knew this, she was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Full of energy, full of personality, a deep beauty about her. She could have gone into anything. Medicine, she'd have been great. She'd have gotten into any medical school she wanted and done well. Law, she could have gotten into any law school, gotten in, and done well. She was that talented and that able to connect with those things that were important. But she made a decision, and that decision was her deep gladness. And even though she wasn't convinced that everything she was doing was exactly what she should do, but it was what she felt she was called to do, and that is how she's lived her life. And you don't know her. She's not a celebrity. She's, what I would say, is kind of poor. But she lives a frugal and meaningful and fruitful life, doing what she did well, and what her deep gladness called her to do, and what the world's deep hunger certainly was. And in the meantime, she raised 3 children, and they had no way to get through good colleges, but she had reared them in such a way that all of them were energetic, and they made their way through universities and did well on their own, making all the money themselves, and went into life and are doing well. That may describe somebody that you know, but it very much describes someone I know. And so she's a great example of somebody who did it well. Where is your deep gladness, and where does the world's deep hunger meet? So as many of you are thinking about, what am I going to do with my life now in what seems to be the great resignation and the great reset, remember my friend Frederick Buechner, who said, ask this difficult question, even in challenging times, and sometimes even when there are opportunity times. What is your deep gladness? And is there a way where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger, where do they meet? And when you find it, go there. Do that. Do it well. Go there. Do it. Do it well. And you just might be blessed as you bless others. And that might be the real purpose of life on planet Earth. Please let that sit on your head as you go through the week. I'm Stan Houston. These are interesting ideas. Thank you very much. People have inquired, they say, Stan, where can I find out more about you? And I say, well, I'm all over the internet. There are probably 500 podcast radio programs, and that's only a simple and a small part of what I've done. And as I said to one other person, just go to YouTube and put in Stan Houston, and you'll find all kinds of things that I talk about and do. But I'm primarily involved in helping people do just exactly what my deep gladness is, and that is communicating through the wonders of radio, be able to coach and counsel and help others, tell good stories, and perhaps find a way where somebody finds their way in the world. And so let me know if I can help you in your business. And I'm rather confident, because I operate from that deep gladness, that I probably can help you in some way, and maybe some significant way. And if I can't, I'll tell you, but I'll also tell you where and who perhaps can. That's my promise, and I always keep my word. I always keep my word. I'm Stan Houston. Reach out to me at stanhouston@gmail.com, stanhouston@gmail.com. All the best and blessings to you. We'll see what Wednesday brings. I don't even know yet, but by the time the day comes, I'll know. Take care. See you around. Bye for now.